Hello everyone, I'm Lady Calamere. Welcome to my channel. So glad you are here. I am doing my 123rd video and it will be on the god Thor. Notice how I said Thor and not Thor. Okay, in ancient Icelandic, even Icelandic today, R's are all rolled. Think of ruffles have ridges. And if you can't roll your R's, that's fine. You could say Thor, but not Thor, like some people go Thor, like an O, long O, but whatever. I'm not being judgmental, just teaching you how to pronounce it right. And I don't want to sound judgmental at all. And it's a billion degrees here, so I gotta put on the fan. I feel like it's a billion degrees here. I hope everyone is dealing with this heat wave. Good. So, anyways, Thor. Who is he? Why would you want to worship him? And also, I'm going to be kind of comparing him to the Marvel Thor, which there are some similarities and many differences. But first, we got to give credit where credit is due. I just got this deck, the Emperor, and we have Thor here. From the Runic Tarot by Jack Sephiroth, Alan Dempster, and Jamie Elford. Of course, we have Shadow taking up the altar here, so I have to put Thor at the edge. And then we have this lovely card. And this comes from The Gods and Titans by Stacy DeMarco, illustrated by Jimmy Manton, which you can find these wonderful decks on Amazon.com. So Thor. Okay, in the Marvel, you'll see him as the son of Odin and Frigga, where Thor is Thor Odinson. Odin. And they don't even pronounce the names right. Odin is actually Odin. The D is a DH sounding. So a quick. So Odin. He is not the son of Frigg. He's a stepson, yes. But he's not the son of Frigg or Frigga. He is the son of Odin and Jord. Jord. Sorry, let me do that again. Jord. Okay, his hammer is now. He knows how they just say hammer because they couldn't. Chris Hemsworth couldn't even pronounce Mjolnir right, which is actually pronounced Mjolnir. Mjolnir. And the name of Mjolnir means crusher or smasher. And there were actually two hammers that had that name. Thor's first Mjolnir came from his whom he was raised by, Vingnir, and it was called the Vingnir stone, which Thor called it his Mjolnir. When he, in this, if I have time, I will tell you how he was raised by two giants because of his temper, Odin and Frigga. It was causing problems, and they gave him to two giants to raise, which really helped him with his development and really helped him control and channel his anger. But however, Thor is, I'm not going to say he doesn't have any disputes with his father. It's just that he's loyal to his father. But even though he was raised by Vingnir and Flora, he did not like how they were going to ransack the gods take over Asgard and destroy the gods. So, of course, Thor took the Vingnir stone and smashed Vingnir and kept the hammer for himself, which was later replaced from a gift from Loki through the dwarves, and he got his second hammer, Mjolnir. And I don't think this. If this is Mjolnir, then it must be the first one, because the second hammer had a shorter handle. But the second hammer was much more powerful and became one of the greatest weapons for the Aesir to fight the giants Jotnir and to preserve order, to fight the forces of chaos. Thor has red, fiery hair. In Marvel, he has blonde hair. But we know in our stories that he's seen with red, fiery hair, with fiery eyes, like eyes of fire. And when he has a beard, it's red. In fact, he's also called Thor Redbeard. An ancient name for Thor, or Thor, is Thorisaz, after his rune, Thorisaz. That's a most ancient name. And in fact, Thor is 3 parts giant. For Odin, whoa, hello, hi spirits, what's up? So Odin is described as a half giant, where Jord, his mother, was giantess. So Thor is part giant, and that's why he is so strong. But he is not the strongest among the gods. That goes to his son, Magni, who's even stronger than him. However, Thor is the greatest warrior, very powerful, especially with his hammer. So Thor cannot travel on the Bifrost Bridge. In fact, he was told that his shoes, his footwear, would cause it to go on fire, and his weight would cause to break it. So he's able to take himself, and okay, so there's two ways that he gets around. Okay, Thor rides a chariot pulled by 2 goats. But he's able to wade through the proto-fabric of time and space on his lonesome. He can just wade right through it. Okay, so he cannot use the Bifrost Bridge. He cannot. He does not use his hammer to fly either. And his godly powers does not come from his hammer, Mjolnir. Okay? His hammer is strong and mighty and returns to him, and he uses iron gloves to also wield it. But it's not, his hammer comes to only that who is worthy. Another thing is, his hammer can be lifted, but it's very heavy, in which there was one story where it was stolen by a giant. So there goes for only the worthy can pick it up. And that also blows the myth out that no one can lift it up but Thor. Not true. So Thor, his main color is red. His main element is fire. His secondary element is earth. His animals are definitely the goat as well as the bull. So we have the goat and the bull as his animals. So you're going to see these runes. Okay, so his main rune is Horisaz, thorn. It's named after his ancient name, but also a glyph of his power and his hammer. How to spell Thor in runes is actually these 3 runes. Can you see? So that's how you would spell Thor with runes. So anyways, let's move this guy out so I don't confuse you. His other runes, Yoruz, Sowilo, and Raido. Again, if you can't roll your R's, that's fine. It takes practice. I had to learn it. And it really does take practice, so. A lot of people are to see him as his planetary powers of Mars. That is partly true. He does represent the planetary powers of Mars. But also, he also represents the planetary powers. He deals with Jupiter as well as the Earth. Another mistake is that, first of all, he's not a super genius as they make him in Marvel. He's not. He's not a Stephen Hawking of the Aesir, but he's no Nimrod either. And that's what some people look at him, and even in modern paganism, they say, and heathenry, oh, isn't he the Nimrod? All bronze and no brain? No. He's not a dumbass. Sorry to disappoint some people, but he's not. So his magical items is definitely his hammer, his belt, his thunderbolt, the chariot, the gloves, and even the oath ring. So the best quarter that's usually used to invoke, call upon Thor is the southern quarter, the south. His main day, of course, is Thursday, Thor's Day. Thor's Day. So other names that he's called, of course, Thor is Norse. We have Donar, Dutch. We have Donner, D-O-N-N-E-R, which is German, Deutsch. Thunor is English, but Thor is Norse, and also Icelandic. So other things about him, in some people make this mistake. Do not give him a flint stone or a whetstone, because in one of the stories, in one of his battles, a piece of stone went into his forehead and got stuck, and sometimes causes him aggravation to like great pain and headaches. So to give him a flintstone or a whetstone is contradicted to him. I wouldn't do it. Okay? I really wouldn't do it to guys. Another thing is, don't think you can compete with him with drinking and eating. You will die first. You will not win with that, because Thor has a very hearty appetite and he can drink. You will not win. I don't care who you are, you will not win. His other element that I'm also going to associate him with, but it's not traditional, is storm. And you know how I talk about crystals, right? And I say this is an element of wind or earth. Also, he deals with storm. He is the thunder god, after all. He does deal with storms. His metal is iron. Interesting to note is that in so in Venezuela there's a African diaspora, and it's called Maria Leonza, where he's the prominent member. He's the head of the Viking court of Maria Leonza, and he is called Mr. Barbaro, which means Mr. Barbarian. And he does pretty much what he does in for the Norse. He is a defender, a protector. He is a warrior. Okay, he does more defensive protection, but he will also do offensive. Okay, Thor, as I should say. Thor. Okay, so if one of his main trees, and there's a reason, oak tree, because it's not a good conductor of electricity. In fact, it is said to explode sometimes when lightning hits it. So oak is very sacred to him. Very sacred. So also oak moss is his thing, and acorns. And I'm also going to get into also some of the oils that you would use for him. Pine and juniper are great for him, as well as oak moss and dragon's blood oil. Those are great for him. His stones are definitely dragon's blood calcite, lodestones, his also red agate and cornelians, especially red cornelians, are great stones for him. So, and his what was I gonna say? His plants are quite a few plants, quite a few herbs are sacred to him, and they are hazel, ash, birch, rowan. What else? Thistle. Believe it or not, onions and garlic are also sacred to him. I love onions and garlic. House leek. The basic leek. Burdock. Vervain. Holly. Nettle. The thorn of a rose. So the thorns are sacred to him. Bramble, blackthorn, hawthorn. Bear with me. Burdock. Just trying to think what else. Also, dragon's blood resin is a good one for him. So, I'm just trying to think. Yeah, dragon's blood resin. Acorns. Even oak leaves. As I said, not just the tree, but also the leaves would also be good for him. His main wife, his favorite is Sif, but he's also the lover of Yorn Saksa, who is a giantess. But his wife is Sif. So in Marvel, you'll see that Sif is not his wife, and that Sif has black hair. Actually, Sif is described as golden hair, and when one day Loki, because he was bored, he cut her hair, but it's also symbolism of the harvest where her hair represents the wheat. Not corn, because corn was in the Americas, okay? Corn was found in the Americas, which later could represent corn. But hers was golden wheat. And Loki, he's fire. He's the fire, and he cuts the hair. And, well, there is Utgard Loki. Actually, Utgard Loki. Then there's Logi, who is wildfire, Logi. But we're talking about Loki Lovisson, cuts her hair, which Thor finds out, and he grabs him by his neck, and he's about to like frickin' kill him. And so Loki has the dwarves make a golden wig for Sif that's just as beautiful, if not more beautiful, than her regular hair, which appeases Thor because it appeases him. Another thing, okay, some people say because Thor dressed up as a woman, as a bride, wants to get his hammer back from a giant, that Thor represents transgender and transsexual. No, Thor did not want to dress as a bride. He had to get his hammer back. Of course, Loki thought it was funny to see Thor so angry, and this, as this big burly guy dressed as Freya, to be given as a bride price to get back the hammer from Thor. But no, actually, the one that you were looking for to represent transgender, transsexual, and gender fluid is Loki. And you can look up Loki on my channel. You can find all about him, but he would be the proper deity spirit for transgender, transsexual, not Thor. Now Thor is a god for every man and every woman. He is not like Odin, where he was popular among the nobles and the wealthy. Thor was for the common person, he was also for, of course, the noble can worship him, but he was also for the common person and the slaves as well. The poor. He did not demand human sacrifice. Thor is the guardian of Midgard, which is Earth, or planet, which It's called Midgard. And he is the defender, the guardian, the protector. He defends the weak, the poor, and he helps the rich and the strong. He's for man and woman and child. He does have a bad temper. And it could be pretty much like the Marvel Hulk and smash things. Okay, he does have a fiery temper. However, he is approachable. He is the defender. Everyone ever hear the song Twilight of the Thunder God by Amon Amarth? Thor, Odin's son, protector of mankind, rise to meet your fate. Your destiny awaits. Twilight of the Thunder God. His type of music and beat was definitely drums. So he would definitely be a metalhead. The stronger, the better. We're talking about bands like Amon Amarth, which I was just singing, Slayer, Behemoth, Rotting Christ, Cradle of Filth, Body Count, all those bands. He definitely looks very biker-like. He definitely looks like he's a biker. And a fun fact about Mjolnir, which a lot of people do not know, is that the heathens know. He can take his hammer, that big, heavy metal hammer, and make it this small and wear it as a pendant. So he can wear it as a pendant, look like a biker heavy metal dude. Like, someone you wouldn't want to mess with, but definitely want as your friend. Thor does not, he is a war god, but he's not like Ares, which is pronounced Ares. He's not like a bloodlust god, fighting just for shits and giggles. And he'll usually have a reason why he fights. Yes, he has a bad temper. Yes, he had to get that got that under control through his stepfather Vignir and his stepmother Flora. Sorry, when my throat is dry, I cannot roll my R's right. Okay, I'm not gonna get into that. But his father is the one that his stepfather is the one to teach him the ways of the warrior, teach him how to use the anger, how to use his strength, how to use his temper. And Hlorach taught him how to have mercy, to be gentle, to learn how to control that temper and channel it for better things. So even though as a child he was angry and tried to come back to Odin when he was dropped off, he realized later that it was the best thing to do. Because Thor, with his temper, he was causing fights between Frigga and Odin, and he was causing a lot of trouble in Asgard, and he was causing trouble not just for the Aesir, but just all over. He could not control his temper. So, but sometimes he does lose it, but he does regain it. Thor is a force to fight against chaos. He fights against disorder. He fights against injustice. He fights on the side of humanity. He will fight for every man and the everyman and the every woman, the average Jane and Joe. He will fight for you and I. He fights for us. Sometimes he goes looking for giant trolls to smash. That is true. However, when he fights, you'll see that he fights for a reason. Most of the time. I wish I write notes and have a script, but I don't, and I just don't. So Thor is he's a huge guy. He's good-hearted. He really is. He's a god that also the oath ring where you make oaths too. You definitely don't want to break your oath and be an oath breaker with him, or at least swearing an oath to him. He's rough-hewn, but he is good-hearted. He uses his hammer, Mjolnir. Maybe one day I'll do a presentation on that. He uses it not only for war. That's the mistake. It's not just for war. No, he doesn't fly with it. He uses it to smash, to destroy, to crush, to kill. But also he uses it for hallowing, which he uses it to make things, to profane, to sacred. It's also used for fertility, where when the bride and groom, a hammer would be put on the bride's lap, so that it blesses the union, but also helps guarantee fertility. It's a fertility symbol too. Thor's hammer is a fertility symbol. It's used for protection and defense, as well as offense. It's used to bless. That symbol, and it could just be like an upside down T, and some Christians think it's an upside down cross because sometimes it's like symbol almost like an upside down cross, but it has nothing to do with Satanism. And it's used to also for symbol of exorcism, to remove blight, remove phantasms, to remove negative spirits, to literally bring fear into it, to help make sacred space for you to do your rituals, for you to do your prayers, for you to do your spells. The hammer is used for making the profane sacred. It's also deals with male virility. Another thing that's not looked at in Marvel is that he's also an agricultural god. Did you know he dealt with the agriculture, the farmers? He also represented the farmers, those who worked the land. Yep. And in fact, when an egg was laying, and the hen laid the egg on Thursday, sometimes they did dye it green. So I would say secondary color would be green, but his main color is red. In fact, the bride and groom did dress in red, and the betrothal, the ring would usually have a red stone in it. So it could have been a ruby, a garnet, something red. He did bless marriages. His hammer was also used to bless, like I said, the wedding. And that's how Thor got his hammer back, when he dressed as Freya. And to consecrate the wedding, the hammer was put in his lap, and he took the hammer and pretty much made short work of the giants there. And of course, he was extra angry that he had dressed as Freya, as a woman, as a bride. Of course, Loki thought the whole thing was funny. In fact, one of his traveling companions is Loki. And sometimes Loki helps him, but sometimes Loki drives him nuts. But even though Loki will eventually yield to Thor and to his hammer, because he knows what Thor can do to him. He knows what Mjolnir can do to him. So when Thor fights, he doesn't play. Okay, he loves the battle. That's what he's good at. One of the things he's good at. But he will fuck a bitch up. He really will. Thor parties hard. He plays hard. He works hard. And he fights hard. He you know, he's a party hardy guy, but he definitely works hard. He is not afraid to get some dirt on him. As far as lazy slobs, he doesn't like that. He doesn't like people who are lazy. I don't know how my ex could worship him, but he's the type of guy that likes to be supported, my ex. So, and sit around and eat and play video games all day. So, not work, make excuses. Well, it's yeah. He's not one for laziness. He's one for those who will work hard, or if they do things, they, you know, or at least if they can't work, to at least help others. You know, he has a daughter named Thrud. Thrud, but the D is a DH sounding, so her name means strength. Magni, which I told you, what happened was he got into a fight with a giant that was huge, so much bigger than Thor, and he kills him, and the giant falls on him, and his son, 3 years old, and he could get the giant off him, but his son at 3 years old lifts the giant off of Thor and said, and his name, and Magni means the great one, the strong one, and he said, I would have fought him and killed him with my bare fist, Dad. Now his other Modi, I would say Modi, M-O-D-I, Modi, is the moody one, sometimes the angry one. And after Ragnarok, after the death of Thor, it is Magni and Modi who get Mjolnir and have all the responsibilities of what Thor did and the responsibilities of Mjolnir. So Thor can help you find a job, he can help you with money, he can help you with prosperity, he can help you with good luck. And some people don't look at that as Thor. They only see, oh, what a big hero. He can help you with food, with drink, with a home. He can help you to prosper in your job. He is a patron of warriors and soldiers. From the lowest, from entry level to a general or admiral. Doesn't matter. He works with all branches of the military, also police officers. Thor has some pride, but he's not overly prideful. He reclaims his Mjolnir, his hammer, not just for his own sake, but for the sake of order, for the sake of the gods and goddesses, for the sake of order over chaos. So he would actually dress as a woman. He is a friend to humanity. So he can help you with good luck. He can remove curses. By his very being hollows a place. His very being, his very presence can chase away negativity, hallow a place. And the symbol of his hammer is what many heathens in the past to present wear. Now, they didn't call themselves heathens back then. That was Christian given. They weren't called themselves pagans or heathens. I would take, taking it with pride, we're pagan, we're witches or something. Not everyone who worships Thor is a witch. But the community, the tribe, the clan, the people were viewed as Inangard, a sacred enclosure which he protected from Uthgard, the outland, the outside. So he protects, he hollows, he is this. His hammer and him is a symbol of power, strength, greatness. So his hammer, Mjolnir, is not a symbol of hate. Neither is the Volknut that belongs to Odin. It's been hijacked. It is not a symbol of hate. Another symbol which a lot of people, oh gosh, because of what Hitler did in Nazis, the Filfat cross, the swastika. Okay, they reversed. It's also called the sun wheel. They reversed it so that it would go back in time for ethnic cleansing. I'm not going to show you a symbol of it because I don't want someone to cite it and say it's hateful. But the swastika that you see on the Nazi flag is reversed. Okay? It's like taking the crucifix, a Catholic crucifix, and turning it upside down. Alright? It's a little bit more than that, actually. Way more than that. Because that's the truth. When they took the sun wheel and turned it backwards, they made it into a symbol of hate. Because it was actually facing a different way. and that's actually his symbol. So, you know, that's why some heathens are won't wear it, because they may be seen as Nazis when they're not. And yeah, there are heathens that are Nazis, you know. Fuck you. Fuck them. I mean, not fuck you, but fuck to them. You know. Uh no, I don't like Nazis. Fuck the Nazis. Like the Dead Kennedy songs. Nazi punks, Nazi punks, fuck off. Whatever. So he's the champion of humanity, earth, and gods. He's the god of lightning and thunder and storms. But he could be called also to clear away storms. He can bring the cleansing rain and the rain for the crops, but also be used to call for clear skies, blue skies, and clear sailing. So other things, oh my God, I did not know I would be talking. Shoot, I'm already 46 minutes. It's already 46 minutes. So he is called, of course, Thor is the thunderer, the thunder god. I mean, that's... So his belt, making Yord, is the belt of strength. And it's worn by Thor to increase his strength, to double his strength. It's a power belt, meaning power belt. And he's strong without the belt, but he uses the belt to increase it. Okay? So Thor also has a certain gloves that he's been given too. Jorngriper, which means iron grippers. And it goes along with Mjolnir's second one. So his belt, Megan Yord, the D is always a DH. Jorngriper is his gloves, and Mjolnir. So he is, like I said, a seer. So he belongs to the Aesir. What else do I want to talk about him? Because there's so many things. About this wonderful God. He can be used against those who do injustice. He can be used against rapists, child predators, your enemies. So he also has a hall called Bill's. Let me take a drink. Bill's Skinnier, which is actually Bill's Skinnier. Again, it's a little bit like you pronouncing rolling the R's in the word and at the end of the word. So it's Bill's Skinnier. And the Old Norse, it's actually an extreme big. It's very big hall. It's a very big building. Contains 540 rooms, located in the realm of Asgard, and it's gigantic. Gigantic. I believe it means lightning crack or lightning bolt. So he does have a hall. Thor was perhaps the most popular, most well-known god in ancient times. More popular than Odin, the All-Father. The All-Father. So his Bill Skinner, yeah, I can't roll my R's. Bill Skinner, I butchered that, is the biggest building. I know people who are watching from Iceland are probably laughing at me, laugh away. But English is my main language, so. So he has 2 goats that pull his chariot. And not only do they pull his chariot, they are also food for him and for guests. What he does is he bops them in the head with his hammer, kills them and has them cooked as long as you don't break the bones. The goats will be fine. The next morning he waves his hammer. And remember I said it's a death bringer, but also life bringer. For he brings back his goats to life. So not only is it a symbol of death, it's also a symbol of life. The symbol of destruction and creation. And the goats' names are Teeth Bearer and Teeth Grinder. Tons Grisnir and Tons I can't even, I should have wrote it down. I could never pronounce that name right. I think the best I could come to is Tang blah. Sorry, but it is Teeth Grinder and Teeth Bearer are his goats. So his animals, like I said, is the bull and the goat. So sometimes he's worshipped. Well, one of the sacred rituals is Yuletide, the winter solstice. And he has many sacred places. He also has sacred the groves, and there are many places that were named after him. Thor had a sacred oak tree, And he also, that was cut down by Saint Boniface. Actually, the Pope gave him that name after he helped destroy the worship of Thor and to bring down his sacred sacred grove and the sacred statue. Which really sucked. So there are so many stories about Thor. I don't think I have time to really talk about it. I don't think people, I think I start losing people's attention after an hour. So you can also, days to worship are definitely during times of storms. Whether it's, if it's a tornado or hurricane, please be careful. But seriously, those are also days that he can be honored during the times, and also storms, your regular run-of-the-mill storms. Just be careful. As long as you're careful, an ounce of prevention is always better than a pound of cure. So I know people are going to ask me about some of his food and drink. He loves mead. Mead. Not everyone can get mead though, so give him beer. Budweiser or specialty beers. He loves his alcohol. Give him beer, give him mead. I'm sure people give him IPAs. He has a good appetite. Goat meat, hearty foods, lots of meat, loves meat. Bread and butter. Onions and garlic. Leeks for food. He likes those, like I said before. Acorns. You can make things out of acorn for him. He's a meat and potato guy too, so he'd like that meat and potato. Your meat and potato. Things that you don't want to give him is definitely flint or whetstones, like I said before. I would avoid meat with broken bones because of the story of how one of his goats came up with a limp because he told a certain someone not to, that they can have all the food they want, but just don't break the bone of his goat. And one of the farm boys did. He broke the bone of his goat, and when he brought him back to life, he noticed that the goat had a limp. He wasn't happy about that. He almost killed the boy. And he has two servants. One is a male and a female. They are brother and sister. So the Halfi was the boy that break the bone. That's how they became their servants, because the father was like, please spare my child. He didn't know better. So of course Thor being a good hearty, he spared him. So he has two servants, Roskva and the Halfi. The Halfi. And Roskva. So his biggest no not to put near is the Midgard serpent, the world serpent. Jormungand. Jormungand. Yeah, they kill each other at the end of Ragnarok. He kills the world's serpent. The serpent spits out venom on him. Thor takes 9 steps and dies. So definitely don't want to do that. So other things that you can do for Thor and put on his altar: suggestions, weapons, shields, thunderstones, a stone that was struck by thunder, or sticks that were struck like a tree. So if you get the sticks that were struck by thunder, by lightning, lightning. Thunder is the sound of lightning. So if you find any stones or sticks struck by lightning, that's good to give to him. Metal lightning bolts, or you can make aluminum foil and make a lightning bolt for him out of that. Iron is his metal. You can't go wrong with that. Some of his herbs, like I mentioned before, you give him his color, which is red. You can, in his name, you can protect those who need to have protection, protect the defenseless. Donate money and time to organizations that are used to protect, especially children or those who are the most vulnerable. You can help someone do some heavy lifting, heavy work. You can, since he protects the earth and he's the god of the earth in Midgard, you can donate time and money to helping to clean up the environment. So I want to give you a suggestion for a book to get, because we got a devotional honoring Thor and family by Robert James Etter. You can find this on Amazon. That's where I found it. Let's get a good image of this. So I really do hope you enjoy this presentation of Thor. There is so much to learn about this god. If you like this video, my payment is to give me a like. It's as good as gold. And if you like my video, please subscribe to my channel. That's another payment to me. I don't have a Patreon account. I have no plans on getting one. So if you like my video, payment to me, like my video, subscribe, share my presentation, my channel with your friends and family on Facebook and other groups, and through email and text and messenger. So in honor of Thor, help charities that are meant to help the earth and the most vulnerable. Help the victims and the refugees of this war against Ukraine. So it's displaced Ukrainians. Donate to real organizations that are going to help them, because I know I heard of fake organizations popping up and people pocketing the money, and it's just a whole shit show at times. So, you know, something, you can help the Red Cross, you can give to children, to places that help homeless families, donate to Make-A-Wish or Children's Hospital, because children, they need protection. They are the most vulnerable, especially terminally ill children and children who are fighting cancer. So Thor would like that. So give your money to those organizations, not to me. Thor would like that. Give me your likes and subscriptions. That's payment enough. So this video was brought to you by the almighty Shadow, who is just sleeping like my little lazy bug. Look at you. Gotta be brushed again. He's old. He's 18 years old. He's a senior citizen. He's 18 years. Yeah, he's 18 years and 1 month old. So thank you for watching. And as always, blessed be.